Hey, welcome to the Thrive Collective. Entrepreneurs, business leaders, and friends, welcome home. This is your podcast designed to help you make more money, avoid costly mistakes, and fully integrate your faith into your life and leadership. I am Rob Hughes, your host, and it's great to be with you. You know, as I reflected today, there's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you just on my heart. Really, these are three essential elements. People ask like, okay, well, so, sometimes we're working with entrepreneurs and business leaders that have ideas and startup, and they think, okay, well, what's the secret sauce? What's really a way for you to be successful in your business and grow your idea? And, a lot of people, a lot of consultants and coaches, they might have a lot of different responses to that type of question. But there are really three habits that I want to share today on the show. Three habits to really ensuring that you've got what it takes to be successful. And think about this. These are three life habits in leadership. The first habit I want you to think about is to show up on time. Was that what you were expecting for me to say? Show up on time? But think about it. When you are an on-time person, what needs to take place for that to happen? On time means that you are well organized, that you build in margin to your life. On time means that you appropriately set and deliver on expectations. On time means that you're respectful of others. So simply being an on-time person, to show up on time, is a leadership and entrepreneurial habit that will separate you from the masses. Think about that. Show up on time. Keep, 5 or 10 people, of your closest friends, work associates. If you just use that one criteria, how many out of 10 people, how many people do you know, entrepreneurs, that literally show up on time, that being on time is of the utmost importance? And of those people that do prioritize being on time, how do you feel in their presence? You feel valued, you feel cared for, you feel important to them. So the first leadership habit I want to entrust to you is that, to show up on time, number one. Number two, success in leadership habit number two. Number one was show up on time. Number two, finish what you start. Ouch. Ouch. Finish what you start. See, for those of you who've been listening for a while, I'm an idea guy. I've got thoughts, visions, ideas. I'm a quick to start guy. I'd rather plant more seeds than I would pull the weeds. But if you have a habit about you, if it becomes a life battle cry to finish what you start, think about the implications of that. To finish what you start, anybody can start something. Anybody can get married. I mean, generally speaking, anybody can start a marriage, but those who will last 50 years in marriage, what does that take? Anybody can say that they're an entrepreneur, though we know many might kind of stall out in that wantrepreneur category, but anybody could say they want to start something. That's very easy. Anybody can set a goal. But where do the medals go? I've never seen a trophy awarded to somebody who set an audacious goal. But if you finish what you start, you follow through, the diligence, the character, the focus, the tenacity. Do you want to know why finishing what you start is hard? Because this side of heaven, there are trials and tribulations. In fact, the Bible says, James 1, that we should expect challenges of many kind to come our way because they test our character, they shape our fortitude, they turn us into the men and women that God is calling us to be. But those challenges, nobody would sign up for them. It's not intuitive. It's countercultural to say, yeah, sign me up for these challenges. And when we have to finish what we start, what we do is we ride these seasons, these up and downs. I wish I could sit here and tell you, entrepreneurs, that seeking business growth and success is a smooth pathway. I wish that were the case. Sadly, it is not. The reality is life on any path worthwhile will be filled with peaks and valleys, celebrations and losses, tensions and accolades. Think of any worthwhile goal that in a typical year, are you find yourself overcommitted, kind of running full tilt, full steam ahead, saying yes to everything? Do you ever find yourself fumbling in schedules and so on and missing key details? See, if you're going to do what you say you'll do, it requires a life discipline. What you say no to is more important than what you say yes to. Catch that. At some level in your leadership and business journey, the activities, the client engagements, the products, the services that you could start selling, it's more important what you say no to than what you say yes to. If you're going to do what you say you're going to do, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be very, very clear on that. Follow through. People of integrity, there's a consistency about them. I would prefer, if you're going to do what you say you're going to do, my encouragement to you, under promise and over deliver. Think about setting client expectations up, business leaders. If you can deliver that product or service by Friday, why not promise next week Monday and delight them with Friday? If you could, make a commitment to follow through and make a promise to them, consider under promising and over delivering, and do what you say you're going to do. So again, those 3 success habits: show up on time, finish what you start, do what you say you'll do. Think of the top 10 influence people in your life, the people closest to you. What's the batting average look like as you observe their lives of those 3 success habits? And then pull the mirror out and take a look at your own. What does it look like for you? Show up on time, finish what you start, do what you say you'll do. These 3 habits of success are powerful. And I believe if we'll embrace them, it positions you to build trust and relationships and ultimately expand the reach of your business. Now, in the Thrive Collective, we're, of course, it's those 3 things: help you make more revenue, avoid costly mistakes that can really damage your business or your personhood, and then fully integrate your faith into your life and leadership. Today, we're gonna focus. We actually have a couple with us, Luke and Sarah. I'm excited to have with us on the show. Luke and Sarah are an entrepreneurial couple. They've got a heart for the Lord. I know from my conversations previously with talking with both of them. and God has called them to make a difference in the marketplace. As a small business owner, I have conversations from time to time with other small business owners. And to some degree, there are a few of us that are called and chosen to be, I think, as our ministry platform, as our field, as our congregation, the businesses that God has called us to. And from my conversations with Luke over the years, I know that he has a similar kind of feeling and prompting. He's not serving just for more money. He's serving to make a difference. And so what's exciting is that this is a first, second, third stage. I don't exactly know where they're at today in their journey, but they have that entrepreneurial mindset. They've revamped a website, and they've got some marketing that they're launching. I guess emails and so on that they're launching. And so they opted into this open office hour time on the Thrive Collective just to get a real-time audit of their marketing and kind of talk through some ideas. And so at this time, I'd like to welcome Luke and Sarah to the show. So let me unmute you guys and welcome you guys. Hey, thanks for joining the Thrive Collective, Luke and Sarah.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us, Rob. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So talk me through, Luke, as we look through here. I think we're going to start step one. Big question that you asked as we kind of joined in today was taking a look at the website that you've built for Value Added 616. So talk us through this project, and let's see what we can do about giving you some tips and ideas.
Okay, so we are longtime subscribers now of the Story brand. We try to keep it simple, and we use that as our framework. So where the project came, are you talking about the project for the company or just the website in general? I want to make sure that.
Yeah. So give us a fresh overview, kind of a story branded overview of what Value Added 616 does.
Yeah,
and then what leads you to building what sort of thoughts went into the new website, and then I want to talk through some ideas for you.
Gotcha. Okay, so what we do briefly is we focus on the core, which is people. So we develop people through leadership training, team building, collaboration, facilitation, those types of things. And then we do process improvement using Lean Six Sigma, Agile Scrum, all those different sorts of methodologies and toolkits at our disposal. And then we also do supply chain solutions, which means we go into, say, a healthcare facility, and Spectrum is a local organization that we understand. So if they're ordering rubber gloves from 6 different places, for 6 different sections of their hospital, and they're ordering it for $1 over here and 80 cents over here, how do we bring that all into one contract, give them the best deal, manage their entire supply chain, and we actually absorb their entire supply chain people as well, if need be. So that's what we do. We do supply chain solutions, process improvement, and developing people is the core of it all. Now, the thought process behind the website is to use inviting colors. We want it to feel warm and friendly and upbeat, because what we do is very technical and business oriented. So we want it to feel kind of friendlier, not so technical, if you will. We save that for the conversations that we're going to have. And we also want the big headers to really just call out, just to call your attention. So if you're doing a scan of the site, you get a feeling for it very, very quickly, like who we've worked with recently. What is our process for getting it done, meaning the how-to with that value process. So just, we wanted to make it so if you scanned it and you looked at this in, say, 30 to 60 seconds, you could get a feel for who we are and what we do.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So let's talk through from a story brand audit. This is the first time I've really viewed your website. It's va616.com if you're listening in on the podcast. Front page of the website, we pull it open. The eye moves, the human eye reads a website in a Z pattern. So for those of you at home who are designing a website as you're listening to this or on your drive time, kind of envision with me the old Zorro Z striking through the air. We stop in the top left-hand corner. This is where we're actually beginning our eye's journey over to the top right-hand. So from top left to top right, back down the middle to the top, bottom left, and then over to the bottom right. So we want to position information that follows the eye's natural pattern. Value Added 616 is the business logo. This is your business's name as well, Luke?
Yes.
Yep. Value Added 616. On its own, This particular business isn't necessarily descriptive, value added 616. If we sent those 3 words or those 3 phrases out to a group of 100 kind of blind test studies, how many people would come back and tell us process management, supply chain, and people development? Probably not very many. Maybe a couple would guess that, but it's not descriptive. So in your particular case, Luke, I'm going to encourage you guys, pick up that copy of Building a Story Brand and build yourself a tagline. You're going to want to have a tagline that rides along with value added 616, because on its own, it's not descriptive. Jones Chiropractic is descriptive.
Okay.
Ben's Flooring Company about flooring is descriptive. Value added 616 is not ultra descriptive, so a tagline could help. Okay. Then as I scan across the top, I do see a button in the top right-hand corner, Connect Now. That appears to be your primary call to action. You want people to connect now. Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And how do they connect with you? Is it a in-person meeting? Is it a phone call? What does it look like?
Okay. So now COVID has changed things. So it is generally a web conference call like we're doing right now, essentially using WebEx or Zoom or Teams. So, but normally it would be they would contact us via phone and we'd end up doing a walkthrough of their facility.
Mm-hmm. In Connect Now is better than Get Started or some ambiguous phrase. If it is a call to start, I might say request a call or schedule a call to be very descriptive of when I click this button, this is what's happening. What does connection look like? I'm not quite clear of that. When I click Connect Now, I get contact us for a free consultation. So maybe it's a little bit more descriptive over here. There's one maybe 10% recommendation there for that button. Rather than Connect Now, you might consider schedule a call or request a call. The most important part of the website is right in the middle. With Imagery, we want to show the successful outcome of our stories, of our client's story. So who are they trying to serve? Who is Value Add 616 trying to serve? These are, these are larger organizations if they've got significant budget to invest in process improvement, supply chain, people development. Who's your target audience, Luke?
So there's 3, but we have Billionaire Bob is one of our personas. And those are the companies, like you said, like we just had a phone call yesterday. So Kellogg's, Navy Federal Credit Union, Accenture, so like multi-billion-dollar organizations. And then also explosive growth organizations about at the 10 to 20 million dollar mark, because they don't have huge budgets and they've grown so fast that their processes are now either out of whack, not standardized, and things like that. Same with healthcare for supply chain as well, as about 10 to 20 million.
Okay. So a good wide range. Everybody's looking to get more out of their operations, get more out of their business, right? Maximize the value out of their business. I heard you say Accenture somewhere along there, and then Navy Federal Credit Union. But Kellogg's, that's a brand. If they'll allow you and they'll give you a release to use their logo, you should definitely be using those on your site as well. One thing you might consider, we want to have our ideal audience feel at home very, very quickly after they visit the website. So after the main panel, you might consider using a value stack of those icons right here, trusted by, and then include your client logos at the right beneath the first fold of your website. I would definitely encourage that. Okay, so currently the words say, we are your process improvement and supply chain specialists. We are a service disabled veteran owned small business passionate about coming alongside our clients and helping them achieve their organizational goals and objectives. We live to serve. Okay, so there's 3 questions that people are asking when they visit your site. They have to answer inside of 8 seconds. What do you do is the first question. How does it make my life better? And then the third is, what do I need to do to buy it? What's the next step? What do I need to do to buy it? So what do you do? We are your process improvement and supply chain specialists. I think that's descriptive. I think that's descriptive.
Okay.
How does it make my life better, meaning the viewer's life better? What words do you see on here that kind of might scratch that itch for them?
We don't, yeah, not really we don't really, we're missing that piece.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really tell them how we're solving or making their lives better, honestly, right there.
Yep. So process improvement and supply chain specialist, I believe that. I did hear you verbally explain 3 ways that you make their life better. And here's what I think I heard you say. Now, I don't know the wordsmithing of this exactly, but uh, streamline their systems.
Mm-hmm.
I heard simplify supply chain, if that's, or simplify or just, maybe that's part of the streamline, and develop your people.
That's the tagline that I actually created a while ago and never made the site. It's actually, yeah, because the tagline that I had come up with a while ago and was not added was develop people, improve processes, optimize supply chains.
Yep. Go back to that. It doesn't have to be a tagline up the top left if you don't want, but you can at least put those 3 icons across the center of the site. You really need to be descriptive that this is what we do. This is our jam. Here's why. Here's why. People will file you away in the Rolodex of their mind based on the problem they think you solve. You need to be very descriptive of what problems you take away for companies. And by clearly putting anchors to those 3, it'll make you more, I think, memorable. And the other thing I want to tell you here, Luke and Sarah, your phrase, we are a service disabled veteran owned small business passionate about coming alongside our clients and helping them achieve their organizational goals and objectives. We live to serve. 100% of that is Luke centered. 100% of that is not the client story. It's all Luke's story. It's all your business's story. So instead, you might mention that you're service disabled veteran, like that's your specialty, but what you might say is, we exist to help you unleash the full potential of your supply chain, rapidly grow your business, and have people in place that you need to help you manage it. That's a different narrative that is clients facing. Does that make sense? It's their story that you're telling.
Yes.
And that is
Absolutely.
that's the story that matters. Now, understandably, sometimes I hear from people like, well, we're kind of a word of mouth business, like we're kind of a referral based business. Okay, that is true, and I acknowledge that. I affirm that and acknowledge that, especially in the consulting type field. However, don't leave your digital tools in the boneyard. They can help you create those relationships for referrals. If you clarify your message like this, it'll help make your business that much more referable, because people will easily be able to say, oh, yeah, I'm Billionaire Sam. I hang out with Billionaire Bob, and he was talking about people development issues that Value Added 616 was able to help me with. So you guys are the people development guys. Can I call you in? Or the supply chain guys, can I call you in? So if you clarify your message, your website becomes a referral tool that people can very easily use, and it makes it a whole lot easier for those word of mouth engagements to start. So again, what do you do? How does it make my life better? And then third is, what do I need to do to buy it? Connect now is your call to action button. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being most effective and 1 being totally confusing, I'm thinking you're probably at about a 7. Not bad on Connect Now. You could amp it up to an 8 or a 9 with schedule an appointment, schedule a call, request a conversation, request a call, because you're being very specific of what action is going to take place after you fill out this form. I would repeat that button right here. Right now, you have a second call of action that says, let's get to work. I would put request a call right back down there again, a second time. In fact, the music to my ears when our agency is building new sites, Luke, music to my ears is when I get that phone call. Hey, it's funny, we just had all this new business that came in. One of our customers mentioned something funny about the website. He said that call to action button was repeated so many times. Is that necessary? Okay. And here's my response. I'm glad he tripped over it. And by the way, I'm glad they're a new customer, because what we want it to be is a clear call to action. We don't want to have 15 different pathways that somebody's got to, in their own brain, figure out to find the best way for them. People will go exactly where we tell them to go. So we want to be crystal clear of what call of action we're asking for out of our site. So I would repeat that call, request a conversation, or request a call, and repeat that button here, and multiple times throughout the site. Then as people scroll, I would definitely put that stack of icons here of trusted by, and then use some of those reputable brand names that you just mentioned to me, those billion-dollar brands, and then use some of the smaller guys too to kind of sprinkle in there. Just basically, you're using imagery to say, I'm home. Whoever the viewer, the prospect is, you're welcome here. We can help big or small, and we're using brand icon imagery to show that. Okay. And then the last thing that I'll mention to you in this just kind of a brief audit is this idea from StoryBrand called the problem. Remember this, the problem that your clients are facing is the story that matters to them. If I told you the next Bruce Willis Die Hard 42 was coming out, and it was all about Bruce Willis, the whole movie, taking his daughter out for ice cream, it would be a boring film. But if I said on the way to ice cream, she gets kidnapped and Bruce has to single-handedly rescue her, well, now there's a plot line, there's a problem, there's a story. So the problem is the story. A good way to know if you're doing this well, if you've got an effective and a compelling story, is to say, how far do I have to scroll before I encounter the problems your clients face? You need to be talking about it. Think about SEO here. They're jumping on Google and searching solutions to these problems already. We don't want to have to make them hunt and peck and search and think before they encounter you talking about that same problem and positioning Value Add 616, your brand, to solve it. So whenever I'm designing a site, I'm at least giving consideration. So 3 things: what do you do? How does it make my life better? What do I need to do to buy it? But then the very next panel, for me, I call it the problem panel. I want to remind in the very first panel that they scroll to, I've hooked their attention. Now I want to sing their song. Did you know 62% of sub $300 million gross revenue businesses struggle with people development? I'm making up a statistic.
Right.
Did you know that the average cost of turnover is X? Did you know that 42% of global companies report wasted time in supply chain? I would have all these different problems that they face that basically sing their song, and then I would land that on an if-then statement. Like, if you want to know you're getting the maximum value out of your supply chain, then what's our call of action? Request a call with Value Added 616. I'm going to open that story loop with an if-then. If you want to know you're getting the most value out of your supply chain, then schedule a call with 616. I'm saying I am the answer to that question, or whatever your storyline is there. Okay, so remember, the problem is the story. And I know you guys had some emails you wanted to chat through as well. One last thing, as I just scroll through this, I can't help myself as I just see it. Imagery. Think about, people truly are scanning your website. You know that. The images that you choose, it's almost like any website we go visit, you know if it's authentic, if it's real, if it's kind of stock imagery, or if it's real imagery. You kind of have your own like marketing filter up. I think we all inherently have that. Studies have shown that images that include human faces looking back at me as the viewer outperform. So to the extent that you can include, I see you've got a hand with holding a pen here. I see you got a hand with watches here. To the extent that you can use your imagery to show me the successful resolution of your client's story. Remember, Value Added 616 is the guide to the story ending well. Use imagery to show me the story ending well. As the viewer of the site, I already know my current reality. Use a picture to speak 1,000 words to inspire me of what I will look like after I hire you, after I sign an engagement with you. So show me the successful resolution to your client's story through imagery. Okay. So just a couple of quick tips. I mean, I could spend here all day with you, but thoughts or questions that you have on some of that feedback.
It was outstanding feedback, and even though I've read the book a couple of times, you know, to have you actually take the time to walk me through it, it really brought it to life for me. So I really appreciate the way that you asked the questions. And again, you did it in a very non-threatening manner. It made me see that I'm missing a lot of information, or you know what, the information is there. I have the wrong information. I'm going to put that there. I need to make them the hero of their own story, which is in there. And right now I've got kind of the me thing going on. So thank you very much for highlighting that for us.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Hey, I'll tell you what, it's easy. A lot of the clients that I work with, if they're self-implementing, the challenge that they start with is that they're so close to their product or service themselves, they have a hard time getting distance to be objective and clear about it with others. And you know, it's tough to see this. The old analogy here. It's tough to see the forest when you're so close to the trees. So you know, sometimes it's helpful to have a guide kind of coach you through. And so I'm glad that you were able to join the podcast today and be part of that. So, and I know also you guys were building out a full funnel. I'd love to hear your experience with email marketing and how that's, you know, been beneficial to you in the last little while. And it sounds like you may have some questions on that. Is that right?
Yes. So our email marketing that we tried, we were using HubSpot, or are currently, and we're about to discuss it here in a little bit. The results, we sent out about 100 emails using a 2-series emails, and it was actually done by a professional copywriter, all that good stuff. And we just have gotten a 0 return rate out of 100 as our kind of litmus test, and they're all in our target audience. Our target markets, excuse me. So these are very specific people with very specific messages crafted to their industries, and we've had no success. And our concern is email marketing right for, you know, people who are doing anywhere from, you know, $100,000 to $1 million contracts? You know, is email marketing the right way to blast somebody?
Good question. How did you get the 100 emails?
We used hunter.io and Kent County Library helped to really nail down, you know, based on size. And then we were able to obtain, and then we would use LinkedIn to verify different emails and people's, you know, we used the whole team to get everybody to get contact information for the right people, if you will.
And so if I hear you right, I want to just clarify, these 100 people did not give you their email. You found their email and marketed to it. Is that true?
Yes, sir. That is true.
Oh, okay.
Cold, completely cold.
Yeah, cold. Anything completely cold. How much business have you done personally? How many checks have you and Sarah sent out from businesses that cold solicited you?
Good point. We've done none. All face-to-face networking is what's landed our business to writing checks for other people.
Yeah. Yep. And are you in that? I would say that that's the norm, and you're not crazy. Now, email's not broken, but it's one of those things. It's a little bit of, I don't know how correct or political this is, but it's the Indian, not the arrow. I think email in and of itself isn't broken necessarily. It might be the intent here. So let's back up. Let's talk about this. You've got 100 people you want to build a relationship with to the point where they're comfortable doing business with you.
Yes.
Sometimes when I'm teaching in seminar form, I'll draw 2 fundraising thermometers. So kind of picture this, and I don't know if you've taken notes, what have you, but picture kind of 2 fundraising thermometers. And why fundraising? Because they fill with red, and you know, from 0 to 100. You can kind of picture that with me, okay?
Yes.
The first thermometer, let's label risk. Risk. Okay. The second thermometer, we're going to label relationship. Relationship. And the first thermometer, I don't know value added 616. The name is not ultra clear and I have no idea who you are, and you show up in my inbox asking for $1 million contract. Where is that on the risk thermometer?
Through the
Low
roof.
risk or high risk? Through the
High.
roof. Where are we on the relationship thermometer?
Absolutely. We haven't even touched it yet. Yep.
At the very rock bottom.
Hmm.
So watch this here. I'm going to teach this to you. Relationship over time mitigates risk. So watch this. If I don't know you, I'm just going to kind of talk through a scenario. I don't know value added 616 from anybody, but I happen to be at a Grand Rapids Chamber event, or I happen to be at a Washington, D.C. gathering, and I bump into you, Luke. Hypothetically, I bump into you, and we get to talking, or I see a presentation that you've done. I didn't come to that event looking for you, but I encounter you there. Low relationship, but watch what happens. We take one step up. And then in that conversation at the cocktail reception or the networking event or whatever it is, you're getting to talk to me, and you hear that I'm really struggling with clunky process right now, and just think I'm wasting so much time on my manufacturing floor. And you say, you know what, we've actually built a tool or an ebook that I think you'd really find helpful. Let me send that to you. Do you have a business card? Do you exchange business card? Well, now I send you my ebook or my tool or my checklist. I'm building relationship. What I'm doing is I'm mitigating risk. I'm making it safe with small baby steps. And then I say, you know what, Jim, it was really nice to talk with you. I hope you enjoyed that ebook I sent you last week. Listen, I really enjoyed our conversation. I'd be happy to give you a free 30-minute consult by Zoom. Just let me know, if you and your team want to connect. What are we doing? We're taking that next step. Now, let me just pause there. A 30-minute Zoom call with Jim, billionaire Jim, hypothetically. If you were an unknown entity, would he even take that 30-minute Zoom call? No. But at this point in the relationship process, you're not an unknown entity because you've created curiosity, you've started to enlighten him, you're building trust and rapport and relationship. See, a lot of people walk around trying to build relationships online like we did back in middle school. Watch this. We see a cute girl we like, and we just like, hey, you want to go out? And it's clunky, it's awkward, and you're trying to close the deal, and you're not sure, and then you become insecure, and you say, I should do something else. You need to go to science class with her first. You need to have a safe experience sitting at the lunch table next to her or near her. You need to be in social conversations. What you need to do is develop relationship with your ideal prospect before you, quote, ask them to marry you with $1 million contract. So think about more than how do I send an email to close $1 million contract? Think about what relationship development strategy, when relationship is low, what are some low risks we can ask people to take? This could be a free ebook or download or checklist. Maybe it's a free webinar. What lead generators can we add, low risk lead generators, that would build somebody's trust and position us as the authority? And then how do we step that up over time so that, now watch this, so that taking that engagement with you isn't something that's part of the marketing, it's just a natural next step. They say, well, of course I would, because he's built so much trust and rapport with me. $1 million engagement with Luke is naturally the next step. You've mitigated the risk.
Could be a Kaizen.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for joining the Thrive Collective and for sharing your call. Any final reflections before I close us?
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do this. We really appreciate you. This podcast that you're doing is extremely helpful. And for all your listeners out there, if they take the time to log in, they're going to get unbelievable help from a great man, a wonderful man of God, and just a wonderful businessman. And you know what? Great all-around dude. So I just want to say thank you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Sarah, it's a pleasure to have you with us as well. Again, entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders, this is your podcast show designed to help you make more money, avoid costly mistakes, and fully integrate your faith into your life and your leadership. I'm Rob Hughes, your host. Thanks so much for joining the Thrive Collective, and we'll see you next time.